Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how we can make your iPhone photos look like film photos. So I don't know if you've noticed, but in the past 3 to 4 years, film photography has been blowing up. But the dark side of it is that it's extremely expensive, especially if you're outside the United States. Film rolls can cost up to $15 to $20, and that doesn't even include developing the film and scanning it. So if you don't really have that income, or you don't want to pay up that money anyways, what can you do? What should you do? Well, I'm here to tell you that you can have your iPhone photos look like they were taken on film, and there's just a few simple steps. Tip number 1 is to actually have a nice choice in subjects. In the film photography world, what's trending and what's really popular right now is photographing things that are of the era when film photography was huge. So like stuff that belongs in the 80s or the 90s, or even things that stand out that look weird. That really stands out in the film photography world. So if you photograph that on your phone, it might convince the viewer that, oh, this was taken on film. So one of the things that is very popular is to photograph very old looking cars. Now this subject right here checks off 2 boxes. It's an old car and it's in a really weird location, so we're gonna photograph it real quick. Don't be afraid to use all the lenses on your iPhone to your disposal. Also, make sure that you move your feet and try different angles and get different perspectives so that the people can see the context around the subject. Another tip that I have for you guys in subject selection is to photograph something that is very calming, a very peaceful scene. Even right here, this very abstract looking staircase with a house that has a nice pop of color, which could help with your vintage photography, with your film photography on your iPhone. So all of this looks great for film photos as well. At the end of the day, all of your photos are supposed to look very organic. We're not going to be messing around with any lens flares. We're not going to do any special effects. We're not going to have any external lighting. We're going to be working with whatever light is given to us. Right now, I'm working with very nice, even and overcast lighting. This will also work with very harsh midday sunlight as well. Just as long as your photos look natural, it'll look great. All right, so you picked the right subjects. You got your old vintage cars. You got some like scenes of peace, and you want to start editing them so that they can actually look like film. So I'm going to import my photos in Lightroom Mobile, and I'll do that right now. And I have my first photo pulled up right here of the car on the lawn. I'm going to first start with the light section, bring up the exposure just a little bit, and film shows a lot of dynamic range, which means the bright skies will still show detail and the shadows will show a little bit less detail. Actually, they'll be a little bit crushed depending on how you expose it, but I like a more like crushed look, so the blacks and the shadows would be a lot more intense and the whites wouldn't be that intense at all because of that dynamic range. I'm going to increase my exposure just a little bit more. Right here is good, and we'll have that. And we're good with that. So let's go to color. Temperature, I like to emulate Kodak film, and Kodak film is usually on the warmer side. So I'll increase the temperature right here. Well, that looks pretty good. Nice little bronze effect. And then saturation is usually not that insane globally. Vibrance, you could punch it up just a little bit to counteract that saturation. And then we'll go to mix. So mix, usually Kodak films don't usually have that strong of a blue, so I'll desaturate that. They usually have more warmer colors, like I said, so let's increase some of that, increase some of the yellows and oranges. So it looks just like that right now, but the real magic is shown in the tone curve. So we're going to go back to light, click on curve, and we're going to mess with this little tone curve. So I'm going to put 3 anchors down, so I have a total of 5 anchors. I'm going to bring this top point right here down so that I kind of flatten out the whites over there. It's called softening the highlights. And then bring this bottom left corner, which will control the shadows, and just scoot it to the right, but keep it on the floor. That'll destroy all the shadow details because film is not good at retaining that. We'll bring this film down right, or bring that point down right there, and voila, you have a pretty good. And the last thing that I want to do is mess with the effects. So one thing that film has in its character is that it's not really sharp. Even if you use like the sharpest lens out there, film isn't just sharp by itself. And your iPhone has a tendency to over sharpen your photo. So I'm going to click on the clarity and go -10, -15. And there we have it. We have ourselves a nice little film photo.